инструменты способствовать достижению цели устойчивого развития номер 7. Следует также отметить, что государство играет важную роль в смягчении потенциальных негативных социально-экономических последствий трансформации энергетической системы, таких как потеря рабочих мест из-за закрытия угольных шахт, субсидии компаниям на оборудование для альтернативной генерации, увеличение затрат на создание балансирующих и резервных мощностей. Особое внимание государствами уделяется вопросу подготовки персонала энергетического сектора в контексте энергетического перехода. Согласно одному из выводов исследования по подготовке кадров в странах объединения, проведенного экспертами энергоплатформы в 2023 году, страны БРИКС испытывают нехватку кадров для профессий, связанных с так называемой новой энергетикой. В связи с этим был сформирован следующий принцип. Реализация справедливого энергетического перехода должна способствовать стабильной занятости, обеспечению средств к существованию и социальной защищенности для работников, а также повышению устойчивости национальных экономик. Следующий слайд. Необходимость международного сотрудничества на основе равенства, общей выгоды, взаимопомощи и уважения на пути справедливого энергетического перехода. Уверен, что работа, которую мы провели в год российского председательства по выработке видения странами БРИКС моделей справедливого энергетического перехода, дополненная общим пониманием этих процессов, будет усиливать влияние стран объединения на глобальную энергетическую повестку. Выводы проведенного исследования, а также разработанные принципы справедливого энергетического перехода БРИКС будут способствовать продвижению схожих позиций стран объединения на таких ключевых международных площадках, как Группа 20, АТЭС, а также на площадке РКИК ООН. Спасибо за внимание.
Алексей Иванович, спасибо большое за презентацию исследования. Также хотелось бы отметить, что сегодня на нашей встрече мы рады приветствовать уважаемых экспертов, которые принимали участие и имели отношение к подготовке этого доклада. Онлайн к нам подключается генерал Мохаммед Усама в качестве представителя Египта. Генерал Мохаммед Усама, спасибо большое за ваше время и присоединение. Подскажите, пожалуйста, в качестве представителя Египта сегодня, как бы вы описали главные составляющие подхода Египта к справедливому энергетическому переходу? И каковы перспективы видите в развитии этой темы в рамках БРИКС?
Before I will start, it's my pleasure to join you today as we got the important discussion, and I would like to extend our sincere appreciation of the Russian BRICS presidency for this leadership and dedication through the SEALS BRICS Energy Cooperation Initiative. Your efforts have been truly credible and have been set a strong basis for our ongoing and future cooperation. And also, I wanted to highlight the successful senior energy official meeting, which held in February, June, September, in addition to the Youth Summit and ministerial meeting under the Russian presidency. From my response, from my question, I want to mention for this Egypt approach to just energy transition, emphasize balanced strategy, this integrated economy, grow with sustainable energy development, aligning closely with the border goals of the BRICS framework. The main components of the Egypt strategy towards achieving a just energy transition focused four pillars: renewable energy deployment, job creation and skills development, social consideration, environmental justice. We start for the integration sustainable energy. The integrated sustainable energy strategy for 2035 was approved, in which the share of renewable energy in the energy mix will reach 42% by 2013, as stated in the updated National Determined Contribution Indices on June 2023. Currently, the update of energy strategy until 2014 is finalized in light of the global development related to renewable energy technology, development of the technology of energy storage, and the new trend towards hydrogen. Second, national hydrogen strategy, which aims to position the country as a leader in green hydrogen production. This initiative, the strategy has vision that Egypt will be one of the global leader in low carbon hydrogen economy, utilizing world leading experts and innovation in hydrogen and the renewable resource and strategic location. It's expected that by 2014, over 100,000 jobs creation, highlight preparation being highlight skilled with the right training. Many of these will be taken by the domestic workforce. I want to mention also on 27th of January, a law was issued, law of hydrogen, issued regarding an incentive for green hydrogen production project. The basic portfolio of this law in the attract serious project through adopting some incentive tax emphasize and creating attracting investment environment for them. In parallel with the strategy preparing, we are working with the private companies in this field of hydrogen. In the regarding 26 MOU has been signed with some major international developers during COP27 in Egypt, in Sharm el-Sheikh. And also 14 partnership agreements signed with a qualified international developer. Renewable energy potential. I would like to highlight the current investment opportunities available in Egypt, especially in the field of the renewable energy. The Egyptian government has taken a lot of procedures has been taken enabling the environmental and encourage the private sector to participate in this energy project, such as reforming the legislative structure of the electricity sector, including issuing the electricity law, which paves of the way of the complete liberalization for the electricity markets. A law was also issued investment in the field of renewable energy, which including a mechanism and help the investor to engage the activities as well as availability of the land. There is about 42,000 kilometers square in Egypt now have allocated for important renewable energy project, which expected potential of 170 gigawatts. And regarding of the proposed prospect of the developing of the topics within the framework of the BRICS, already Egypt now working for the all BRICS countries in some field of the project, such as Russian cooperation with the contribute the Daba nuclear power, and we supplying uranium production for Egypt research sector, cooperation with our brother in Saudi Arabia, renewable energy, our brother in Arab Emirates, renewable energy project, and wind and solar, nuclear, and green hydrogen, cooperation with our brother in China, various energy-related fields, including green hydrogen, electricity transmission, pump and storage, and reducing losses. Outcomes of from meeting with the BRICS countries, participation in the BRICS energy research cooperation platform, which aims to achieving sustainable energy development through cooperation and energy research, technology, policy, and innovation. Incentive energy dialogue, extensive energy dialogue to ensure unparalleled access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Strengthen the stringent security of BRICS countries, ensure a great role of the BRICS in the global energy agenda. In this regards, I want to mention for something we sent already nomination for the Egyptian electricity and renewable energy sector for this national energy sector and working stream from the BRICS countries on this following area: renewable energy, green hydrogen, smart grid, energy efficiency, technology cooperation, standards and regulation, digitalization, energy research, capacity building, and financing. And already participation in enhancing the skill development, just energy transition among BRICS countries through recording and education video, and the BRICS country estimated aiming to expand the participation of the advancing about the just energy transition communities and organizing the collective programs to expand the awareness of just energy transition in school and university. Identification of the barrier of skills, development cooperation among the BRICS countries, and proposing recommendation. Facilitate cooperation with the exciting BRICS network university and through energy transition through program. Short-term training, seminar, and joint working group between energy transition skills work stream BRICS network university of coordination. Communicate, which outlines the BRICS countries' joint effort to enhance energy security, promote just and inclusive energy transition, and strengthen the technological and global cooperation in this sector. Training, يعني already you have some progressing to proposed area of cooperation with the BRICS countries, such as training and providing technical consultation in the field of training, attracting investment of the BRICS countries to financing renewable energy project, including this NWAFI program, which mentioned in the BRICS meeting, smart grid project, digital transformation project, special project of the field of establishing microgrid network, solar energy storage, and wind and energy. يعني in the end, once again, many thanks for your leadership and effort. I am looking forward to our productive discussion today and the continued strengthening of our partnership, a just and sustainable energy future for all BRICS countries. Thank you for all.
Генерал Мохаммед, Усама, спасибо вам большое.
Thank you very much, General Mohammed. Vladimir Evgenievich, this year, within the framework of Russian chairship, we made a strong emphasis on climate aspects. We created a contact group, climate group, dedicated to climate and sustainable development. How do you see such processes and transition in BRICS countries? Please share your experience. Thank you. I'd like to emphasize that with our colleagues, BRICS colleagues, we have different points of views and also very similar points of views. It depends on their being exporters or importers of energy resources. But at any rate, we see the support of all of our colleagues regarding the principles about which we have discussed today already, about the need to take into account the national particularities and the equal use of different transitional fuels, such as gas, and the discussion regarding nuclear energy led to the recognition of this energy source, including as a green energy source. From our point of view, without natural gas and some other fuels, we cannot organize the just energy transition. We cannot ignore the reality. Our Brazilian colleagues consider that fuel must be considered as a transitional variant, and we take into account with colleagues all of these positions, and we try to fix them in relevant documents. For what did we create this contact group? From our point of view, take into account that on many positions our points of view are equal. We must not only support this vision on different platforms, but only actively interact as regards experience sharing and work on information sharing and technologies sharing. And based on this, we launched this contact group so that, first of all, to discuss issues concerning connected with information sharing, work on methodologies and knowledge experience sharing as regards adaptation, mitigation, and different projects which we together with our BRICS colleagues are implementing. And another very important aspect for us is interaction as regards scientific research. We with BRICS colleagues, including during our personal meetings, during the Moscow meetings, we show them the results of our scientific researches. From our point of view, it is a very important activity because in many cases we consider that conclusions need more detailed review. Today, already, in a practical way, we use the results of scientific research, which we have already within our national system VIP-GESE, which takes our monitoring system to the next level, including the monitoring of emissions and sequestration based on scientifically proven data. And we recalculated with our scientific colleagues the national coefficients, indices, and we use the results while preparing our national NDCs, and we will take into account the new objective data received. And it is very interesting for our BRICS colleagues, and it is a very interesting direction of activity. We are ready to share knowledge with them, and we are sharing knowledge for their internal work. We signed with our colleagues the framework document as regards climate issues at the relevant ministerial level, and we hope that all of these activity directions will be followed, and our colleagues, first of all, our Brazilian colleagues, will continue their work next year, because next year Brazil will be the chair of BRICS, as you all know, and then they will continue work, including at the next COP. What's more? I wanted to say about transitional fuels and as regards our next work, as regards scientific research, we agreed upon launching a platform of climate research of BRICS. It is a very interesting activity, and not just to share information, but to try to launch scientific research projects together. I think we will do it in parallel with our colleagues which are working on the platform of energy research. We think it is a very important activity. Here we concur with our colleagues from Brazil, from United Arab Emirates, from China, India, and we see here a great space for future work. Thank you. Thank you very much. Dear Novalesiev Al-Khanai, please tell us about the national parts in research of United Arab Emirates. What approaches from Arab Emirates towards just transition can you talk about, and what are ways to deepen the collaboration in BRICS?
So thank you for inviting us today to speak about the national chapter for United Arab Emirates. So basically, energy transition in UAE is not new. We have started since our union of the country, and we have since our discovery of oil. And the UAE have an amazing energy transition when it's come to renewable energy and also traditional fossil fuel. So basically, when it's come to our energy strategy, we have launched our UAE Energy Strategy 2050 since 2017 to make sure that we achieve the balance between the supply and demand and growing demand in the country, as well as to make sure that grid stability, energy security is the fundamental of this journey. So when it comes to last year, COP28, we have already updated our national energy strategy to make sure that we achieve the net zero targets by 2050. And that means that we have to have also intermediate, short, intermediate, and long-term targets when it comes to energy. For 2030, we have put in place tripling renewable energy by 2030, as well as doubling the efficiency, energy efficiency. We have allocated about $54 billion for this journey to achieve this transition in the country domestically. And also we have put in place a new target for energy efficiency whereby we will achieve up to 45% by 2050. So all of these are new targets that we have put in place to make sure that we achieve our net zero strategy. But when it's come to what is the actual 23, so we already doubled our renewable capacity. We have previously 1 point something in 2022. However, in 2023, we have 6 gigawatt already installed capacity from renewable energy. When it's come to nuclear, we diversify our energy mix. We have nuclear as a base load, whereby we have 5.6 gigawatt already commercialized and operate currently in the country with 4 reactors. And this guarantee for us the base load and the grid stability. So when it comes to energy diversification, we are looking to all sources and all technology available and assess, keeping in our radar the new technology that will be playing a significant role in the future. So also last year we have established and launched our National Hydrogen Strategy 2050, whereby we have a target to be among the top producer of low carbon hydrogen. For us as a country, we don't care about colors. However, what matters is the carbon intensity. And therefore, we consider all color are welcome to be produced in UAE. We are having 1.4 million ton per annum as a target to be produced by 2031. And also we are aiming not only to decarbonize the hard-to-abate sector in the country, however, also to export some of this low-carbon hydrogen to support other countries and nations in their decarbonization journey. Well, this is in the domestic space. However, also UAE is contributing in the global community, whereby we have invested so far in the clean energy and renewable energy to support other nations, and we have invested $50 billion so far on this energy transition for those countries, as well as we have already committed and pledged another $50 billion to contribute and to enable those countries among 40 countries overall in this decade. So this is when it's come to domestic and international sphere. Also, when it's come to energy, we have also noticed that energy efficiency is a very crucial element, and whereby we have a national program when it's come to demand side management program, whereby reducing the consumption of energy and also the reduction in the water consumption as well are the main focus on this program. We are focusing on 4 main pillars or industries, which is the industry, transportation, built up environment or building, and also agriculture, whereby we assess that those are the 4 intensive sectors that need to be tackled, and we have a variety of initiatives such as building retrofitting, and also we have electrical vehicle roadmap for 2030-2050 to make sure that we achieve our target not only in power and water sector, however in all different hard-to-abate sectors as well as key sectors in this area. I will stop here so far, and if there is any question, I'll be more than happy to address. Thank you.
Спасибо вам большое за такой подробный
Thank you very
рассказ.
much for your detailed story. And I'd like to emphasize that Gazprombank is taking part in the development of this study, and within the framework of the Business Council of BRICS, Gazprom played its role as regards the aspects of sustainable development. I'd like to ask you, what results can you name as the work of such a subgroup, and why are you interested in the topic of just transition? Dear colleagues, hello. Thank you very much for the invitation, for take part in this session. Thank you very much to the previous speakers. Yes, we were the partners of the platform of energy researchers of the BRICS. This work was very productive from our point of view, as all the work of the Russian chairship within BRICS and all the formats of our works gave their results. They were very effective, and we learned how to work in a more efficient way. About the study which have been presented from the start, for us and for our client, 3 moments were very important. Gas as a transitional fuel. We talked about different platforms, and we reached consensus on different platforms. It's very interesting. And inadmissibility of barriers in the sphere of financing and access. We talked about it, including at this meeting with the participation of Antonio Guterres. And the third moment, recognition of carbon units as a relevant way of setting carbon footprints. We are actively participating in the developing of a carbon market. So this is a very important question for us. And as regards Business Council, this year we chaired the subgroup for developing green financing, and we succeeded to do a lot, taking into account great differences between BRICS countries, taking into account the enlarged composition of BRICS, but on basic questions, most important questions for us, we reached understanding, and I think we did our homework well before the Brazilian chairship. And we intend to continue our work in this direction. First of all, what is most interesting for us, development of transitional financing, forming a business approach towards forming the carbon markets for BRICS. And in Russia, we had a deal with representatives from United Arab Emirates present, and thirdly, creating an expert platform for developing different solutions, because we can reach consensus, but work on such issues is impossible. Further work without our colleagues' agreement from BRICS. And about transitional financing. Last year, when summarizing outcomes of the Conference of the Parties, it was clear that not every party is on the same way towards reaching Paris Agreement goals. And it showed us that maybe approaches towards such restructuring are maybe not optimal. So it shows us that we cannot reach goals in such short terms, especially developing countries are unable to do that. We understand that we must reduce emissions in industries which generate such emissions. Prevalently, such industries do not meet the criteria for involving green financing. And in short term and mid-term, we cannot provide green financing in sectors which cannot get green financing. That's why we are discussing now new ways of financing, which can provide financial flux for relevant strategies, industries. And it is very relevant for BRICS countries. So at the platform of Business Council, we prepared a concept of transitional financing. First, recognition of transitional financing as a part of transition as a whole. Second, recognition of transitional fuel, including the natural gas. Thirdly, inadmissibility of barriers while providing financing. The concept is included in the section of recommendation for BRICS countries, and the reference for it is signed in the relevant agenda. And we think that this topic will be easier to push during next chairships, during the Brazilian chairship, and we plan to work on that in every possible format. And about carbon market, I will not take much time. Within the framework of Business Council, we prepared a roadmap for carbon market for BRICS development, which will be, I hope, finalized during Brazilian chairship. As regards preparation of experts in the field of sustainable development, it is about a dialogue and a relevant mechanism. We've prepared necessary elements for such dialogue, and we invite everyone for cooperation within this platform about business issues, cooperation issues. I think we will be able to hold the dialogue. Thank you very much again.
Спасибо вам большое, Екатерина Андреевна.
Thank you, Valentina Andreevna. Today we are glad to welcome representatives of authoritative international organizations such as UN, FSEC, OPEC, Henpin Liu. Mr. Henpin Liu, the energy transition is a key to reaching sustainable development goals. Can you, as a representative of Economic and Social Commission for Pacific, tell us about the progress of reaching SDG 7 in this Pacific region, and how regional energy transition can speed up this progress and speed up reaching other SDGs?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this invitation. And also I want to congratulate for these studies from BRICS country on energy transition. I think there are a lot of very important messages and policy recommendations for the cooperation among the BRICS countries and also the other countries to work together with the BRICS. As the moderator asked me to share some of the progress in Asia Pacific about energy transition, how we progress to achieve SDG 7. I think in Asia Pacific, as the largest energy consumers and also producers, well, energy transition is very important, on the agenda for the government for sustainable development. And most of the countries, develop their strategies on energy transition. And for the short term, it's up to 2030 to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal 7. As all of you know, the Goal 7 has 3 targets. The first one is for energy access, which include access to electricity and also access to clean cooking fuels. So these are the 2 targets mostly relevant to the developing countries. We had made a great achievement so far for electrified the populations. Almost 98% of the population in Asia Pacific already access to electricity. So we expect before 2030, So the target for universal access to electricity will be achieved. However, for access to clean cooking, it's a big challenge. We still have 1.2 billion population in Asia Pacific without access to clean cooking. When we say clean cooking fuels, it's mainly like the natural gas and the electricity for cooking. So mostly we are using in urban areas. But in many developing countries, even in urban areas, people still use traditional fuels for cooking, like firewood, like coal, so which caused a lot of indoor pollutions and also the pressure for fossil fuel supply. Especially women and the children are suffered a lot in the rural areas because of this indoor pollution. According to WHO, each year there were 4 million people died because of indoor pollution. So the cooking is one of the causes for this kind of indoor pollution. So globally, there are 3 billion population without access to clean cooking fuels. So in Asia Pacific, 1.2 billion, which is almost 50% of this global population without access to clean cooking. So we expect if we, without accelerate the progress or the government support for clean cooking fuels, even by 2030, so this region cannot achieve 100% of clean cooking fuels. We only can achieve about 80%. So that means still 20% of those population without access to clean cooking. That's a really big challenge for government and also for NGOs and also the private sector to look at the potential, how this could be prioritized. And secondly, for renewable energy development, as we discussed a lot of things, energy transition is mainly transit from the fossil fuels to renewables. Although in Asia Pacific, in absolute installation capacity, actually Asia Pacific is leading the global added renewable energy capacity. But compared to other regions, the per capita of installation, Asia Pacific is the lowest. Compared to Europe, compared to America, compared to Latin America, actually the per capita installation of renewables in Asia Pacific is the lowest because of the large population here and also large developing countries, small island states here. So that means there's a great potential also for regional cooperation and international cooperation to support the renewables and to accelerate the energy transition. So the third aspect, the third target is energy conservation. So we see the target for renewable, for SDG 7, and also the call from last year UAE consensus, the doubling this energy efficiency by 2030. The Asia Pacific is doing well, but still far away from this global average. You know, globally, the average for energy intensity reduction annually is 4.2%. And if we achieve SDG 7, that means the Asia Pacific, we need to catch up from the currently 2.8% average annual energy intensity reduction in Asia Pacific to 4.2%. That's a big challenge also. So that means for all three targets, we are not on track in Asia Pacific. And there is also big challenges for energy transition, as we say, transit from fossil fuels to renewables. It needs a lot of collaboration and also support, investment, and finance for this process. So I just want to emphasize, along with the energy transition, so the just energy transition is always the key for energy transition. In particular, the two areas I think we have to pay much attention. One is the phase out of coal. So that is also a target in many developing countries in Asia Pacific. Probably you heard the Just Energy Transition Partnership, the JETP. So that is one of the key areas to phase out or to have early retirement of the thermal power plant. like Indonesia and Vietnam, they are the two countries started this JETP. But the issue is, most of these operational thermal power plant, they have a 30, 50 years lifetime. But now, if you want to have the early retirement, that means they have these economic losses. So who will cover these losses? So the energy transition, just energy transition has a cost, but who will cover the cost? Government alone cannot do it. So it's really need a joint efforts from all the stakeholders, from private sector, from government, from the local community even. And the second point I want to emphasize is also the great pressure along this just energy transition on the minerals. I think BRIC countries has great potential also work together for critical minerals for energy transition. As we estimate 70% more critical minerals we need along this transition to net zero. So that means when you have these more critical materials from the coal mining industries, you really need to pay attention for sustainability of this industry. So that means you have to create new jobs when you just move away from fossil fuels, but at the same time, you have to pay much attention for the sustainability of the new industries. How you make it more environmentally friendly, while at the same time create more jobs for the local community. So that's, I think we really need to think about it. I also think the BRICS study may just pay much more attention on even next round. You can include this kind of aspects in this kind of study to provide more like good practices or policy recommendations for members of BRICS and also other countries to consider. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Спасибо большое.
Thank you
Хотел
very
бы передать
much.
сейчас слово
I would like to give the floor
экспортеров нефти. Доктор
to the
Бенюсеф,
Organization
как
of
нам известно, в
Countries
демократическом обзоре
Exporters
ОПЕК
of
также
Oil,
затрагивается
Dr.
вопрос
UNICEF.
энергетического перехода.
We
В этой
know
связи
that
просим
you
вас
deal with
рассказать подробнее о
energy
том, как ОПЕК
transition
видит пути и
issues.
задачи
I would
энергетического
like to
перехода.
ask you, what is your vision of energy transition?
Yeah, thank you very much for, first of all, on behalf of His Excellency, the Secretary General of OPEC, we would like to thank you for inviting OPEC to be part of this panel. First of all, I would like to say that the reality of the impact for the climate change continue to attract attentions, worldwide. But there are in fact some issues, which is in fact the balance between the growth or economic growth and energy security while considering reducing emissions. As a result of that, many countries have already sent their national determined contributions or NDCs, but still there are still gaps between the ambitions and the NDCs, and also the ambitions to reduce also the carbon emissions. I would like to highlight that from our side, we see that our OPEC World Oil Outlook 2024 sees that the energy demand per capita will move from around 13.6 barrels a day in 2023 to 14.1 barrels per day in 2050. But still there are a lot of or big discrepancy between OECD or developed countries and non-OECD countries. While OECD countries are more than 27 barrels of oil equivalent per day, oil equivalent per year, it is for the non-OECD or certain developing countries are still at less than 5 barrels of oil equivalent. To that, I would like to highlight also that for the OPEC, we see that energy demand was at 300 million barrels of oil equivalent in 2023, but from this huge amount of energy, wind and solar represent only around 3%. And moving to renewables or transitional renewables would need more effort. There are still a lot of challenges. One, as mentioned by many speakers, that 2.1 billion people lack access to clean cooking, and more than 685 million people are still lacking access to electricity. Therefore, there are other challenges such as environmental, social, critical minerals, shortage, supply chain delays, including infrastructure, and also or barrier trade barriers like also putting some taxes pose major burden on this transition. Just to conclude, I mean that the OPEC believes that the energy transition is cross-functional solution that answers to both environmental challenges and social economic development, taking into account growth in energy supply, as well as the balanced energy mix for all forms of energies in affordable, accessible, and sustainable manner. We also believe that the world, and especially the fossil fuel industry, is on the path of transitioning away from the carbon emissions. Thank you.
Thank you. А теперь хотелось бы услышать взгляд форума
Now we
стран-экспортеров
would like to give the floor to Mr. Adrian. You represent the largest gas exporters, and for many countries, this is very important for energy transition. And your opinion is very important for us. How would you comment the position of many countries within energy transition?
My thanks for the invitation to this panel. And first and foremost, I would like to also acknowledge that the principles of energy transition that has been presented here in the beginning of this panel are fully aligned with the perspective of the GCF. But at this moment, I would like to also highlight one of, I can say, the key 3 pillars or principles of energy transitions from the perspective of GCF. First and foremost, I would like to somehow emphasize, I know that some of the distinguished panelists has also put some sort of emphasis on this issue that in the future, considering the growth of population, particularly in the low-income countries in Africa and developing Asia, together with the expansion of the global economy and rapid urbanization, the size of the energy system is set to grow. For example, according to the latest analysis and forecasting of the GCF, primary energy demand is set to grow by something around 20% up to 2050. And the size of the global primary energy demand is set to somehow surpass something 18 gigaton oil equivalent by 2050. Now, if you look at it from this perspective, you will see that there is some sort of shift. Size of the energy system is growing, and at the same time, the sources of countries that are somehow driving in the future, the energy demand is also changing. Particularly, it shifts to those countries that are already somehow suffering from some sort of empowerment, or I can say energy poverty, as it has also pointed out by some of the other distinguished panelists. In such a context, first, we should consider that according, I can say, to the principles of energy transitions of the GCF, I think we should take into account that we should not ignore any sort of sources of energy, and at the same time we should be neutral to the energy technologies. Considering the size of the energy demand in the future, we need all sort of sources of energy, we need all sources of technology. This is the first principle according to our perspective. The second point, which was also highlighted in the presentation in the beginning of this panel, is that there is no singular energy transition pathway or trajectory. In the future, countries, according to their national circumstances, their geographies, resources, priorities, and capabilities, they have their own energy transition trajectory and pathways. That's why we will not use energy transition as a singular path. And we believe that we should use it as energy transitions instead of energy transition. And the third point that some